everyone. We've got a rematch for the ages here. Again, featuring Andromeda and myself with the same book that you guys saw in my last video, Comet, Infection, Vampire, Retribution. And yeah, we're just going to get right into it. See if I can get revenge. I think if I remember right, I'm running the same book. So Mega Boulder, Totem, Dark Knight. I do manage to get first turn here. Once again, but as you can see in the last game, if you don't quite know the mechanics of the spell, Retribution, and the book, kind of the playstyle for the book that he has, first turn doesn't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things. So I think for a second, like, oh, maybe I can go down to the bottom of the map, but I realize he's trapped, and I also realize that he doesn't have Blast from the Past in his book, so I can just chill up top. There's no reason to go to the side if, one, your opponent doesn't have an aerial, you know, two, you're not down, you're not trying to stall, and, you know, three, especially if they can't get to you, there's not really a huge reason to go down to the side, especially this early. So I decide to pull out the Pebble just to kill the Sylph. Maybe slightly risky, but you know, we take those. He gets the bank out, kind of annoying. For when he, you know, uses Snowball in the future. I again know, and you guys know from last game, I don't believe he has Drain, and so it's difficult for him to kill this. He chooses just to tower out, which is a fine play. Keeps my Swarm alive though, which is going to tick away at the bank next turn. So I've accomplished that. Any health that you can whittle down from the bank while the opponent's at 250 is a huge win. Then bank goes on cooldown and they don't have any healing, because as I mentioned, he doesn't have Drain, right? So you notice I'm playing a bit more passive in this game. And maybe not necessarily passive, but like careful. It's just a different strategy, you know. It's not necessarily passive, but I summon the Peg. Obviously, I want to, you know, block the Comet. And he decides to go for the Infection. Why did I get the Storm Spirit out? Because I was thinking, oh, I could use the Windshield, right, to block the Comet. And he brings out the Vampire. Vampire is always a pain in the ass, really difficult to deal with, because, you know, he has Totem. He can kill the tree pretty easily. Like, you know, there's a lot of things he can do. So that Snowball fails, but the Infect deflights me, so pretty unfortunate. And at this point, okay, his Vampire is still trapped, which is good. He's probably going to get a totem up next. But I'm thinking I need to telly, because for one, I don't want the giant there to just snowball spam me, right? And you'll notice that the Infection turned black. That means that it doesn't spread anymore. So another sort of way to explain that is that if minions are around the player when the Infection is black, the damage doesn't multiply, right? So I have good positioning there. And he misses the Comet, get kind of lucky. And now I can just position that Swarm pretty smartly and then set up my Pegasus and, you know, maybe build up a Flight Prot, go up there with the Pegasus, block the Comet with the Pegasus, and then, you know, do some damage to him or something. Something like that. So it looks like his Vampire can escape, maybe, right? Because you see that radius of the Totem. If you guys don't use Totem, the way it works is that the minion will clear land equal to that little red circle's radius there. So I put the Swarm there so that the Vampire can not escape. Or at least have a hard time escaping. Maybe it can squeak through there in the bat form. but I'm not sure. Andromeda says, no, it can't. So that's fine with me, but he does have to use the aura, and that actually blocks off his minions. He can absorb it with the totem and then, come out with the vampire, right? But instead here he just chooses to use Retribution, and now I can pull out my own totem and then free myself. Unfortunately, I can't go over there and charge his minions because the aura is active. And I don't have any other minions to absorb the aura. I do have a Pegasus, but it's trapped down there for the time being, right? Which I can actually free it with the totem if I get a chance. But I feel like the priority here would be to kill the vampire. And that way a huge threat from his book is gone. And yeah, my totem takes some damage, but he still has to take a turn to kill it fully. And if he doesn't kill it, then next turn I can bring it over here, free my Pegasus, which I think is exactly what I'm going to do. He does Sylph here. I think he should have Ice Shielded as well, just to trap it fully. Just a subtle, little detail there. And let's see what I'm doing. Moving the minion. Yeah, moving the totem over there. And it's good for me that he has that giant still stuck. Also, it's funny, you notice the wind, right? Because the snow is falling and it moves to the right or to the left based on the wind. So great that I have this Pegasus free now, right? He still has Retribution up though, so I have to stall a little bit more. Not sure exactly what I want to do here. Okay, I just kill the Sylph. So now my Dark Knight's free, and he has to trap it somehow. He doesn't. But it wasn't like urgent because he's in a tower and he still has Retribution active. But I just mean, at some point he's got to trap it, right? So now that he's free, I actually have to go back to stalling. And, Andromeda doesn't really like this playstyle, to face it, because it's slow and boring. But yeah, if he's going to use shit like Retribution, then, well, you got to change up your strategy in order to win, right? So I'm just going to zoom out here so you guys can see the full board while I'm moving minions. I don't have to move the camera around a bunch. Oh, it looks like it focuses on the... If you press C, it focuses on the player, even when I'm moving a minion, which is... It'd be kind of cool if you're controlling a minion in the game, and you press C, it focuses on the minion. Anyway, that'd be cool. But I want to free this Dark Knight, right? He has to take a turn to kill it, and at this point I'm protected from Comet. I choose to pretty much sack my DK, right? But maybe it doesn't kill with the snowball. And it doesn't quite kill, which is good. And now I can go up there and maybe Pebble. Get his tower on cooldown. As I said, I do have Mega Boulder, so I'm trying to kind of orchestrate that. And see if I can catch him with his pants down, so to speak. I could also charge if I wanted. He doesn't have a way to, undead my DK or anything because the aura is down. So I get really close to the Pegasus just to discourage the Comet and Pebble him. At this point, what are his options? He could simply kill the DK. He doesn't have Blast from the Past, so he should probably just kill it. He actually makes a great play and resurrects the Swarm. I did not anticipate that at all. So I was like, oh, he doesn't have anything like aura, so he's not going to be able to undead it. And wow, look how far that snow goes with the strong wind. That's insane. It's like way over here. Anyway, he makes a great play to res the Swarm. Unfortunately though, he doesn't have anything like Pegasus, so is that Dark Knight really doing anything? No. because even if I get deflighted, right, I can just move away with my Pegasus, go back to the side, hide, and I'm chilling. So probably not the best play by him. He should have just killed it. Does it lose him the game? I'm not sure it does really, you know. So I mean, it was a fine play in the moment. Kind of a tricky spot for him without a tower, right? I decided to just chip this blood bank away with the swarm again for the, you know, third or fourth time. I know that he doesn't have drain, so it's particularly difficult for him to kill the swarms. Although he does have it on the Dark Knight, right? So he can kill it there. But yeah, I felt like swarm would be a good option to whittle away his blood bank, and he has to respond by killing it, or I get that additional chip damage. And he's in lethal range right now, right? Because I have a Mega Boulder left. He's trying to get up top and can't quite get there. Yeah, I think he might decide to snowball here. He does. And he keeps the swarm alive, which is good for me. He gains, what, 83 to 139? Which is like 50 something damage. That's insane. Yeah, 46 damage. So now he's not in lethal range anymore, which is tragic, right? You can see how, like, this type of book, it doesn't need drain at all, right? Because the healing from bank is just so strong. But the thing is, if you get the bank dead, then the opponent doesn't have healing for like several turns. I go for the Mega Boulder there, just to get some fat damage on him. Brings him all the way down to 16 health, kills his Dark Knight. He's got very few options at this point. I don't believe he has a tower, so he has to go for the Comet and drain. I drain for the kill. So again, another interesting game. I was able to conquer, you know, Retribution, as the title suggests, and you kind of saw, okay, if you ever run into this in your game, one of the ways to beat it is just to play a bit more passively. You know, hang out on the side, build your flight prot, get your Pegasus out, get your swarm out. And swarm is going to be a huge win con against this book because it's difficult for him to kill those. You know, he has to snowball them, or use Siphon on the vampire, which destroys all 25 health minions, or just does 25 damage to all minions, and then heals the vampire for a percentage. So anyway, you saw kind of a change in the strategy that I used. If you ever run into this book, you can try it out. If you don't have flight, you pretty much just have to rush this book down, because if you allow him to get, you know, his Frost Giants out, his Vampire out, his Totem out, Bank out, then you're going to have a really difficult time, because you can't be on the top of the map and you don't have flight, so it's hard to hide. Can be kind of tricky, but yeah, no flight, rush him down. If you have flight, use the sides to your advantage, get your Pegasus out, swarm out, try to, you know, slowly grind away at his health, and just let him use his resources. And yeah, should be pretty successful for you. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this rematch for the ages, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.